Okay, well, I finished up on the goat shed yesterday. Hopefully you had a chance to watch that video. And I am about to start on my next project, which is rebuilding, or not rebuilding, but kind of shoring up the hog pen. There's just a few things I need to do. We're going to be getting hogs again in probably the spring, and just want to make sure that that pen is good and ready to go. So come on, take a walk with me. That's a divider that we use. I just put it up, goes from there over to there, keeps the chickens out of our backyard, the area that we frequent more. They were getting up on the deck and everything, so had to take care of that. They're off in another part right now, so I ain't gonna worry about it right now. We're just gonna take a little walk back here in the woods and kind of get an idea of the layout here. Hay barn over there. Well, let me show you something. Found this guy on Facebook Marketplace was selling this stainless steel sink table, whatever. It's hooked up, so all we have to do is hook up the hose to it. We can use that spray nozzle. This is where we're going to be cleaning chickens, and plenty of room on it. It's got a big hole right there, so we can put a bucket down below to catch all the refuse. The goats are munching peacefully on their hay. So as you walk down this little lane, you can see that's the new goat pen there. Margie said, let's don't separate the goats yet. It's just the two of them. And I do separate them to feed them, but once they finish eating, they're looking across the fence at each other, just wanting to be together, which I understand. So the hog pen I built last year, yeah, still last year because it's not January yet. So it's way back here in the woods, and that keeps the smell away from the house, which, because they're in so much shade, there never was really much of a smell anyway, at least not to me. At times it was a little bit more than others, but it's almost just like I left it when we took them to freezer camp. I've heard people call it that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all the electrical. Don't really need that. Haven't had any problems at all with coyotes or anything. This is one of the shelters. I did start taking that apart. Just need to finish it up. This is the other one. And they worked pretty well. Those hogs didn't get huge, so they were both, it was getting pretty tight there towards the end, but they were both able to fit in those. But what I want to do is build a bigger shelter, have it a little bit higher, and it's not going to be an A-frame. I want them to have plenty of room to get in there and move around. And so I'll need to move that feeder, I'm sure. So that's one of the things I need to do. And then the water, that's it laying there. It's got the nozzle, or the pig nipple on it. And this is what I had it sitting in. And it was fine, but I was always scared that they were going to start rooting underneath it and tip it over. And of course, if it had happened, it would have been when I was away on business, and Margie would have had to deal with it. I don't want her to have to deal with things like that. So I'm going to probably actually use this as a form, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and put a concrete pad so the water can just sit on that concrete pad. I think that'll work a lot better. So that's what I'm going to get started on today. So while I was blowing the leaves off, I decided I'm gonna go ahead and leave a pile of them in here. That could encourage, if they break down enough, hopefully they will, that could encourage, you know, bugs and worms and things like that to get in there. Gives the hogs something to root for. But and even if it doesn't break down a lot, it's not going to hurt for them being here with the hogs. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start digging these holes for the new shelter for the pigs. I'm gonna make this one about 4 feet deep and 6, maybe 8 foot in length. I do want them to have some room to move around, but I might end up going less than that. We'll see. Okay, the 4 posts are in the ground, and I think that's going to be a nice size shelter for them. So what I have to do now is just figure out about how high I want the front to be, have a little bit of a slope off the back, and I think I'm going to use deck boards for the 3 sides, and so it should be pretty easy to finish up here. Okay, so my plan is to use horizontal studs, I guess you call them. I'm not 100% sure, but use horizontal studs, and then on the outside, I'm going to use deck boards, treated deck boards, and attach those vertically. So I'm using 2x6s. There's going to be one at the bottom, middle way, and then one at the top. And I'm not using treated for this because it's not going to be touching the ground. I think it should last because it's going to be away from the weather for the most part. Might get some every once in a while, but I think that's going to make it pretty strong, so the hogs can't just tear it apart. So hopefully that'll work. Okay, so I've got the framework done. I'll need to come along with the chainsaw, cut these off so they're flush. I will need to put a board across here because I want to put a middle joist, I don't know what they're called, from there out to that piece of wood. So I got another piece, but I'll need to do that after I get them cut down. And yeah, so from that point, what I'll have to do is put the siding on and then the roof. So, but it's starting to sprinkle, and I know we're supposed to get some rain this afternoon, so I'm gonna have to call it for today. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on while I was doing the roof. By the way, I do have a little gap right there. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with that. I'd have to rip a board, and it's really not a huge deal. If anything, it'll provide a little ventilation, so no big deal. It's not gonna get weather in there in that part. So I used the old pieces from their previous shelter, so it's just kind of all patched together, but there's plenty of overlap. This piece goes up about 1.5 feet from the front. Same with that one over there. Didn't have quite enough, so I got a piece from my stock that I have. The hogs won't care. It's going to be shelter for them, and that's all they care about. So yeah, I'm happy with the way it turned out. I need to trim up some stuff. I'll get rid of that sharp corner right there. But yeah, that's going to be nice and cozy for them. Good amount of room in there. So I guess all I have left to do in here is make a concrete pad for the water. I got to this point on December 24th, and then I got interrupted by a couple of other jobs that I had to complete. Now it's just too cold to get out there. So I'll be releasing another video once I complete the job. Hope you enjoyed this one, and please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and God bless.